Yes, a very good morning to each one of us, ladies and gentlemen. I do believe that all of you are doing very much okay this beautiful Sunday morning, correct? Now, this is Teacher Fred speaking to us. My name is Frederick Onyango Ouma, and today I want us to speak on the commonly made mistakes in the A1 Sprechen. Yeah? Some of the commonly repeated mistakes that we tend to face, right? And I would like us to break them down in details, and I believe by the end of this video, you will be able to successfully crush the A1 Sprechen and be able to pass as required. Okay. Now, if you find value in this video, kindly go ahead and like it, subscribe to the channel, and also don't forget to share with your other friends who are also learning the German language. Well, then let's get into it. Now, the first mistake that people tend to make is getting the difference between Sprechen and Sprachen. Let's evaluate this for a moment. There is Sprechen. This one here is normally small s. It is normally a verb. So therefore, it is normally going to be in small letter s unless it is beginning a sentence. So sprechen, which now means to speak. Sprechen. Try saying it from the end. Remember the r. Sprechen. Sprechen, okay? That is to speak. An example in a sentence. Ich spreche Deutsch. Ich spreche Deutsch und Englisch. Okay, some other example. Peter spricht sehr gut Deutsch. Okay, Peter spricht sehr gut Deutsch. Peter speaks German very well. Okay, last example. Wir sprechen Deutsch und Englisch. Okay, so remember that the sprechen is now to speak. Normally it's a small letter s unless it is beginning a sentence. Now the other one is Sprache. 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 Now this one is a noun and therefore it's going to be capital S. It is always written in a capital letter. It's a noun and therefore should always begin with a capital letter S. Okay. Now because this is a noun, you cannot conjugate it. You can't say ich sprache. That is incorrect. Right? So it's a noun. It's normally feminine. Die Sprache, which means language. Die Sprache, plural. Die Sprachen. Right? Sprache, language, and then Sprachen, languages. Okay? So you could say, for example, Deutsch ist eine Sprache. German is a language, right? And then if there are two, English und Deutsch sind Sprachen. English und Deutsch sind Sprachen. English and German are languages. Okay? Some other extension of the Sprache, things like Muttersprache. Muttersprache, mother tongue. Fremdsprache. Fremdsprache. Now that means foreign language. Remember, if it's on its Sprache, and then plural, you add an N and say Sprachen. All right? Another thing from Sprache is like we have the second language, Zweitsprache. All right? Zweitsprache. That means second language. So the difference you've seen again is that Sprechen, to speak, Sprache is language. So please don't confuse the two. Okay. Now, the second also commonly made mistake is when expressing your hobby. Now, remember, when talking about your hobby, if it's one, you have to say, mein Hobby ist. Mein Hobby ist, if it's one, right? Mein Hobby ist tanzen. Mein Hobby ist Radfahren, if it's one. But if I'm going to say two or more, now I will add an E to the mein and say meine. And then you also add an S to the hobbies. So remember again, if it's one, mein Hobby ist, right? But if I now say two or more hobbies, now I have to say meine. There's an E. Meine. Meine Hobbys sind. Meine Hobbys sind. Alright, please get the difference. So 2. Meine Hobbys sind Radfahren und Singen. Alright, you've now seen the difference. So remember, if it's 1, mein Hobby ist. If it's 2 or more, meine Hobbys sind. Okay. Right. Now, another mistake that tends to appear is when talking about your profession. Now, how do you say your profession? I would simply say, ich bin, so profession is Beruf, right? They will either use the word Beruf, profession, or job, or the Arbeit. So, I am. Ich bin, dash, 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 von Beruf. Ich bin, dash, 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 von Beruf. So, for example, in my case, I would say, ich bin Lehrer von Beruf. Maybe if you're a student, you'd say, ich bin Student for a male. Ich bin Studentin for a female. Alright? Now you could choose to add the word von Beruf or remove. It is not necessary. You can just say, ich bin Lehrer. Right? Ich bin Student. Ich bin Studentin. etc. etc. Okay? Now, you also notice when talking about profession, we don't add an article. Don't say, ich bin ein Lehrer. Ich bin ein Student. You simply say, ich bin Student. Ich bin Lehrer. Ich bin Studentin, and so on and so forth. Don't include the article. Okay? All right, then I think I have one more, and that is spelling. Now, these two tend to confuse the V and the W. Remember, V is foul. Foul. V is foul. W is ve. Ve. How about X? X is X. X. How about Y? Because there tends to be a confusion between Y and J. So Y is Ypsilon. All right, remember Y is Ypsilon. You'll hear some people say Upsilon. Upsilon. Y. And then which other one? J. J is yacht. Yacht. All right. So please do take note of this because they will greatly affect the way you will get your marks in this part of the Sprache. Okay. So I talk more about this in the booklet. You feel free to reach via the email provided here. The books are already out and going. Right. If you need more detailed explanation on this, you get to grab yourself a copy of this booklet. Okay. I've left the email somewhere here. You'll be able to reach us and get a copy. Okay. Well then, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of today's lesson. Let me say tschüss und bis dann.